Namaste, y'all. Welcome to All About the Gut Brain Connection, the weekly Wednesday love stream, woo stream, live stream, however you want to think of it. And so glad to have you all here on this beautiful Wednesday. I come to you live every Wednesday at 11:11 a.m. and we dive in together. So today we're diving into very important part of your being called the gut brain. And the gut has been called the second brain. And it's really, really amazing. We have this two-way bidirectional communication, two-way street. Think of it as a two-way street between the brain and the spinal cord, the central nervous system, and the gut, the lower intestines, as well as the GI tract. And that all together comprises your second brain. And so we have communication. Today we're going to talk about the three ways that they're connected, the brain and the gut. We're going to learn about some of the things, some of the issues that can arise when that connection or communication is off. And you'll also learn about natural nutritional solutions. Okay, so let's dive into this. So take a moment to consider, think of a time you went on vacation. Think of a time you went on vacation for a moment and just connect with that sort of vacation feeling where things are pretty easy and in flow, and there's a lot of relaxation and enjoyment, that sort of vacation vibe. Just connect with the time that you remember when you were on vacation and all the feelings, all the good feelings there. And that's really what we need to consider bringing in to ourselves nutritionally, is taking a vacation from stressors, certain things we're putting in to the body, mind, and everything. So just keep that in mind as I'm talking to you on how you might take a vacation from certain things that I mentioned that might be adversely affecting the flow, the communication, and the connection, this most important connection between the gut and the brain. Okay, so because it dictates how we feel, our moods, and what we crave, like biochemical cravings. And you cannot, your willpower cannot hold a candle to biochemistry, to a chemical chain reaction that's occurring inside of you through your neurotransmitters, the hormones, and the other biochemistry within you, the metabolic communications, the messengers, and the enzymes. Your willpower can't hold a candle to that. If you've got these chain reactions occurring within you, willpower is only going to take you so far. And your ability to be clear-headed relates to the health of the gut-brain connection. Our ability to focus and stay focused and not get distracted relates to its health. Our immune response relates to its health. About 70% of our immune response arises from the gut. And so recovering when you're sick, but also staying well, fighting off sickness. And circulation and heart rate as well. So digestion, our moods, our cognition, how well we digest experiences, but also how well we digest food. So do you suffer from cravings? Do you ever go through periods of brain fog? Have you struggled with weight gain, trying to reset your metabolism? Or do you tend to starve yourself to try to lose weight? I went through a period of time where I did that, and it's really gets our systems off kilter. Moodiness, depression, anxiety, chronic pain or inflammation, allergies, autoimmune issues, or just not feeling well, just feeling blah, just having your joy is flat. Your moods are kind of meh feeling. that all relates to this gut brain connection. And they've been doing studies for about the past 8 or 9 years. This has really come on board about our gut health being so important to all these different factors, so foundational to so many things, that they're now understanding that they used to think that IBS, in irritable bowel syndrome, was caused by depression and anxiety, that it was caused that way. Now they're thinking, oh, the IBS causes anxiety and depression. Okay, so they're now understanding that a lot of the communication is from the gut up, into the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, and as well as our involuntary nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, the stress response, and the relaxation response. That's all tied into this gut health issue. And so there's three ways. Let's talk about the three ways that the brain and the gut are connected. One is through the vagus nerve, and we're going to, over the next month, over the next 3 Wednesdays, we're going to dive into each of these three ways that the gut and the brain are connected. So make sure you keep tuning back in. So there's three ways. One is through the vagus nerve. Vagus means wandering, and there's a pair of nerves. Actually, it's the 10th cranial, or the 10th cervical nerve. I forget if it's cranial, cervical. Anyway, it's really long. It goes from your skull all the way down your body, wanders down to the innervates the gut area, the vagus nerve. And that is a two-way street. So that's an actual, like, physical connection between the two. But now they're discovering that 90% of the communication goes from bottom up, goes from the gut to the brain. Okay, so again, the gut is so important. So that's the first way that they're connected. The second way is through neurotransmitters and hormones. Okay, so your neurotransmitter balances, things like dopamine, serotonin, things like that, cortisol levels, et cetera, all play into the communication between the gut and the brain, and relate to our moods, our ability to function, have cognition, healthy cognition, as well as digestion, and feel good physically overall. And then the third way is through the gut microbiome, the gut microbiota. And the gut microbiota, so most of you probably know that your gut microbiota is composed of all sorts of bacteria and microorganisms that actually outnumber our own cells. So we are more, quantity wise, like more bacteria and this microbiome than we are human, I guess. It's just weird to think about. So have you ever felt butterflies in your stomach, like kind of a nervous excitement, or had that gut instinct? That is your second brain activating, okay? Like a gut feeling, for, maybe even a foreboding feeling in your gut, or just that nervous butterflies in the stomach feeling, we call it. That's your second brain online, okay? And it's hidden all through the walls. This is the enteric nervous system. It's hidden all through the walls of the GI tract, actually not just in the gut, but all through the whole GI tract, all the way up into your esophagus. Its health is linked to healthy digestion, our moods, overall health, and cognition. And it's something like over 100 million nerve cells for the second brain. Okay, so it's a very big part of us. And again, we used to think that anxiety and depression and issues caused IBS and caused digestive disorders. And now we're understanding that the digestive disorders actually cause these other things. And the Greeks, it's so cool. The Greeks actually believed that if someone had a mental affliction or disorder, that was arising because of digestive tract issues that were producing excessive black bile. Okay, now I don't know how they discovered that, if they were, doing autopsies or what, but anyway, the Greeks knew there was a connection. And each of us has a particular like fingerprint or thumbprint of our microbiota profile that is unique to us. And babies are given get their healthy microbiota when they pass through the birth canal. So if you have babies that were born through C-section, they don't always have the mother's microbiota isn't passed on to them. And so they may have some issues arise because they didn't pass through the birth canal, which is where they get that exposure and the addition to their microbiota. We have a lot more autism these days than we used to, and people on the spectrum, and many of them are so gifted, right? But there are also really a lot of challenges that can arise when with autism and folks on the spectrum, and there's specific alterations in their gut microbiota that we're seeing. And one of the things I'm going to share with you here in a moment about the nutritional and natural way to reset your own gut microbiome, because it can maybe start to sound like a lot, like, oh, now I've got to, how do I even start getting this back into balance? Don't worry, I'll give you a solution here in a moment. And what we're seeing is that if we work with their nutrition, with folks on the spectrum, kids with behavioral problems, work with their gut health, has huge, profound shifts for the behaviors and everything. One other thing I wanted to mention about IBS is that sometimes it can co-occur with SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And so this can help. What the solution I'm going to offer you today can also help with SIBO, with getting things back into balance. Because basically the issue is that things are out of balance. If you've taken antibiotics, you probably, many of you know, to like bring in some healthy bacteria, some probiotics, eat some yogurt, things like that, to reestablish your healthy microbiome after those antibiotics come in and kill off bacteria. They are also killing off your healthy gut microbiome. Same thing happens when we eat sugar, and sugar causes inflammation. Same thing happens with alcohol. Really, any overuse, smoking, like cigarettes have a lot of sugar in them too. So any sort of intake that's excessive, that you're consistent with, and that is that you're dependent on, can create those imbalances. And it can be really hard to quit these things, right? Because it's filling some need physically and metaphysically. And you're also biochemically, being driven biochemically to take the substance or do the thing. Okay, so it's like you're, it's all somebody else is driving the bus in a way. Or even eating non-organic food. There's so many pesticides that are sprayed on foods. They're in water. If you're drinking tap water, please stop. Please start to filter your water. Buy some filtered water, because the water has a lot of these contaminants too that kill off your healthy gut microbiota. So, so the air we breathe, breath work is hugely important for reestablishing good tonality through our system, the water we drink, the food we eat, the thoughts we think, all the different levels you can work with here. But coming back to that vacation you were remembering at the beginning, that vacation that you brought up in your memory of a fun time you had, where you took a break from work, you took a break from the regular stressors of life. And that's what I'm inviting you into, is a break, taking a vacation from processed foods, from sugar, from alcohol, from caffeine, from dairy, from things that are actually making your gut microbiota out of balance or perpetuating the imbalance. We restore the soil of your gut. We take a vacation from the processed foods. and it's the ultimate lifestyle transformation is what it's called. It's a 30-day pack of superfoods, and I have a code that you can use that saves you over $100. But this really, cost wise, it's not that much. If you were to make like juice to get this much juice from fresh fruits and vegetables, organic, you'd probably be spending $15 to $20. This cost me less than $3 to make. So it's really cost effective, and it may actually be even more nutritional, high nutrition, than what you can buy in the grocery store, because the food is grown on the farmlands. It gets transported by refrigerated truck to the store. It sits in the store. You walk in, buy it, or you order it, and it gets delivered to your door now, however you do it. Then you put it in your fridge. How long does it sit in your fridge before you do something with it, right? There's all these steps in our food production process where we're losing nutrition. We're losing nutrition. And we also need to take things in that can help reestablish that healthy gut microbiome. So the shake is just part of it. Probably the most important thing, if you were just going to do one thing, that would be adding in Biome Medic, which is part of our daily core 4 nutrition. But that one thing has helped so many kids on the spectrum, so many adults with like chronic digestive problems, 20 years issues, and adding in these superfoods, especially the Biome Medic, which is a proprietary blend of pre and probiotics, as well as humic and fulvic acid to pull the toxins out of your gut. Because when we have toxins in the gut, we can get leaky gut. Things are off, neurotransmitters are off, hormones are off. We have those cravings, and we feel like crap. We've got mood issues, digestive issues. You can see how the gut health is so important and foundational for everything. It really is so foundational. So I'm inviting you to consider joining our upcoming Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation. A bunch of us are coming together to do it together. You'll be supported every step of the way. And if that is something you're interested in, I want you to comment on this video or send me a private message, and I'll send you more information so you can look it over, including the amount of investment and everything that it is. But I have a code that I can share with you that's going to save you over $100 off on your superfoods pack. It's very easy to follow. You're going to be saturating your cells and yourself with these superfoods. You're going to be taking a vacation from processed, sugary foods, caffeine, alcohol, dairy, things that cause inflammation and actually perpetuate that gut disharmony and a lot of the other disorders we've been dealing with on a massive scale. Like, gut issues are 30 to 40% of people are going to have gut issues in their lifetime. That is huge. And it may also be tied to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, things like that. So when you take a vacation, vacation oftentimes isn't a quick fix, right? You want to go somewhere, you don't just go for a night. You want to go for an extended time. And that's why we do we do a month where the first 10 days, you don't worry about cutting anything out. So the first 10 days are just adding in the superfoods. You're just adding in the healthy stuff and allowing things to start to rebalance. And then in the middle of the month, we do a more intensive, accelerated transformation where we're taking in the superfoods. Every 2 hours, you're taking in superfoods or flex foods, things like cucumbers, celery, watermelon, blueberries, avocado, lemon, Himalayan salt, and some coconut oil, things like that. So you're really saturating your cells and yourself during that middle 10 days. Oh, and there's also a parasite cleanse, because that can oftentimes perpetuate a lot of issues too. And so bring in the super cleanser, get the first stage of the parasites cleaned out, and then 3 weeks you want to do that again to get that egg stage so they don't repopulate you. And you need some patience, right? We need patience when we're farming. And that's what you're doing. Like you're reestablishing like the healthy soil, planting healthy seeds, nurturing it. So when you garden, it's not like you rake the soil, remove the dead stuff, plant the seeds, and you don't expect it to be, all full and blossom the next day, right? A lot of your guts are, like a desert. They're dry and rocky and, cracked, and they need some time to reestablish that health and functionality and harmony. So that's why we do a month of this, because it gives you the time you need. And we live in a world where everything, like we expect it really fast. We want a website to pull up, it pulls up fast. We can get the info is at our fingertips, but we've got to be patient with our body minds. You didn't get this way overnight. And so it takes some time, but you can really start to feel better, have less belly bloat, have less mood issues, anxiety, depression, all these different things that can arise when the gut brain communication connection is off. So I invite you into that. I'm going to pop in the comments after this is over and put some links for you to check out. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm just checking the comments real quick. Oh, Kelly knows so much about nutrition and everything. She's an amazing nurse. And it's really amazing what can happen when we simplify what we're taking in and we take a vacation, we push the pause button on certain things we're doing or bringing in, and we simplify and we give our body minds time to reset and restore naturally and nutritionally. And doing that for your physical garden, your gut microbiome, again, just allows everything to grow and flourish and balance out. It can be really profoundly transformational to do this 30-day ultimate lifestyle transformation. So that is my invitation to you today to join us. A bunch of us are starting on June 1st. You'll want to get your pack ordered and get my code so you can save over $100 on your pack. And we'll get you all set up. You'll be supported every step of the way. The next 3 weeks, I'll be sharing more about the vagus nerve, more about neurotransmitters, and more about the gut microbiome, because it is so foundational for so much of our quality of life. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. I will see you again. And on Saturdays now, I'm offering replays of past trainings at 11:11 on Saturdays. So in this group, you'll see another event pop up, and that is a replay of a prior training that I feel really adds to the flow of whatever we're diving into. So look for that coming in on Saturday as well. Thanks for being here, everyone. Thanks, Kelly and Kathy and Mom. I know you're tuning in, and everyone else who's watching the replay or here with me live. Much love to y'all. Namaste.